All right, the time is now 1 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the pre-application conference for the Long-Term Water Augmentation Fund in-state program. So we're so happy you could join us today. This session is designed to walk you through the application process, available funding, eligibility requirements, evaluation criteria, and more. So our goal is to help you to prepare a strong and complete application and to understand what to expect in the coming months. So my name is Lindsay Jones, and I'm joined today with Ben Alternator. Together we'll guide you through this presentation and then answer any questions you might have. Before we get started, I do want to do a few housekeeping notes. So we are recording this webinar today. A link to the recording and a copy of the presentation slides will be provided on WIFA's website after the session. All attendees are muted upon entry to minimize background noise. If you're having any trouble with your audio, please check your audio settings or you can also click the Join Audio button on the bottom of your Zoom window. We will have a Q&A session at the end, but you are welcome to submit questions at any time as we go here using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. And with that, we can get started. Go to the next slide here. So we have the table of contents here for a quick look at what we'll cover for today. So we'll start with the program overview, then move into the application process, available funding, the eligibility requirements. We'll go over the evaluation criteria briefly, the financial terms, and then finally we'll open it up for Q&A. So first up, the program overview. So the Long-Term Water Augmentation Fund in-state program is designed to support water augmentation and development projects across Arizona. Our focus for this program is to tap into unused water sources and to ensure long-term water reliability for the state. The program is administered by us here at WIFA, and we are Arizona's Water Infrastructure Finance Authority. And we can go to the next slide. So we'll briefly go over the application process for this program. The application process is going to be divided into two parts. So part one will be the project information form. This form is due by December 17th, 2025. So very short deadline until that first form is going to be due. This is a high-level overview that helps us to determine that your project's eligible. It'll help you get connected with staff and give us an idea of what sort of demand we'll be seeing in this program. Part two of the application process is the project finance form. This is due by January 16th, 2026, and it includes detailed project and financial information along with a required questionnaire. So after submission, applications go through a multi-step review process. First, WIFA staff will conduct that initial review for eligibility. It'll be followed by a thorough evaluation by the Long-Term Water Augmentation Fund Committee, and then it will go to the WIFA board. Will make the final determination, and if approved, move on to a loan agreement execution stage. So let's take a closer look at the part one of the process here. So the project information form, which as I said is due December 17th. This is a form that must be completed online through the application link that's provided on WIFA's website. You will need to have a Smartsheet account. So if you don't already have one, you'll need to create a free account to access the Smartsheet form where you'll be submitting the information. Once logged in, you'll see this information shown on the right of the screen here for the form. And then please note there are several attachments that are required as part of the submission. So you'll be required to provide audited financial statements, your most recent approved budgets, and then any supporting documents for your credit rating, as well as a cover letter, which is going to summarize your proposed project. That letter should be on official letterhead and it should be signed by an authorized representative. To help you prepare in advance of submitting this, we have provided a Word document template that mirrors the online form. This is just to allow applicants to draft your responses in advance, collaborate with your team, and make sure that you have the most accurate information before submitting online. You can access both the form and the template on WIFA's website, which is located listed on the slide here. And this portion of the application really is your opportunity to just clearly communicate what your project's purpose is, what the anticipated benefits are. We do want you to keep your responses concise, but also make sure that they provide enough context so that they demonstrate the value and readiness of your proposal. Part two of the application is the project finance form. This is going to have more technical and financially geared questions and more details than required in part one. Like part one, this form is completed online through that online link. However, the form itself is relatively straightforward for part two. It does require, though, a long list of attachments, which are included here. Among those is the project finance questionnaire. So this questionnaire is a Word document that you can find on WIFA's website. It's meant to collect in-depth information about your project and your organization's financial standing and the ability to repay a loan. So the Word version is available, and then that would be included as part of the attachments with your submission. The other attachments, like I said, there's a numerous attachments that will be required. So we do strongly recommend that you review that full list of required attachments early in the process so you can begin gathering materials well before that January 16th deadline to submit part two. One other important note is that the online project finance form will ask you for a project number. This number will be provided to you by WIFA staff after you submit part one, so be sure to wait for the confirmation before planning to submit part two. All right, next we'll talk about the available funding for this program. So the total available funding for this round is up to $96.2 million. Please note that there could be additional funds if this program was leveraged, depending on the funding demand. Awards may be made to multiple projects or possibly to none, really based on the overall benefits to Arizona. So we do anticipate that the WIFA board will be making these determinations in their February and March board meetings potentially. Next up, I'll briefly touch on the eligibility, which is outlined in depth in statute for who is eligible for this program and what types of projects. So eligible applicants include water providers, which is a long list of defined entities that meet the water provider definition found in 49-1201, Section 20, and then as well as any public entities such as cities, towns, counties, and other types of public entities. The eligible types of projects will include acquiring water rights or water, and then any planning, designing, or constructing of water-related infrastructures. So this could include water delivery systems, storage, reclamation, groundwater replenishment, stormwater recharge. Additionally, conservation projects that improve efficiency or reduce use are also eligible. Next up, I'll touch on the evaluation criteria. So we do have evaluation criteria set in statute for this program. And you can find that statute. It's 1304, Section A. Additionally, the board has determined that there's some priority criteria within that statute that they would like to evaluate. And so any projects where they're demonstrating a clear benefit to current or future residents, demand versus supply analysis, or they have a strong repayment ability and long-term water supply reliability will be highly considered during the review process by the board. So these factors help to ensure that the funded projects are meaningful, sustainable, and adding a large amount of benefits to Arizona's water future. So next up, I will touch on the financial terms for this program. So loan terms are governed within statute. The WIFA director will set the terms within statutory and policy limits. We want to make sure it's very clear that forgivable principal is not allowed under the long-term water augmentation fund, unlike WIFA's state revolving fund. The interest rates are going to be set 2 business days before closing and are based on a AAA MMD general obligation yield bonds. The discounts may apply, we may apply discounts further based on board approval. The remake payment terms include a level debt service for up to 30 years or the asset's life. So we can't extend loan terms beyond the asset's life. So if it's less than 30 years, the loan term would be less than. Additionally, it'll have a 3 year of interest-only payments during construction. There's a 6% late fee and no prepayment is allowed before 10 years without a breakage fee. We have information about loans, which would possibly be categorized as qualified or not qualified based on financials, and qualified loans may be used to secure WIFA bonds if the program was leveraged. Disbursements must occur within 3 years, so everyone should be planning for 3 year projects to entirely disperse all funds from the loan based on cost incurred, and unused funds may be penalized. So borrowers must submit certified cost documentation and undergo annual financial reviews, and they must also maintain their systems and allow for WIFA staff to do inspections. So you can have additional details within WIFA policy 2.20, which is linked on this slide and is available on our website. All right, and I believe that takes us to the end. So that concludes the presentation portion of today's session. We can now open it up for questions. Please feel free to submit your questions using that Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. I will, just to set expectations, I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can live. If your question is something that I can answer quickly or easily, I'll respond right away. However, I will note if it's more complex or requires follow-up, we will be including all of the questions we receive in a frequently asked questions sheet or FAQ sheet that will be posted on our website. So we will get you the information, and we are looking forward to whatever questions you have. Additionally, if you have additional questions after today's session ends, you're welcome to contact us either directly or send an email. You can also sign up for WIFA alerts to make sure that you don't miss any updates from WIFA. And with that, I will open it up. So Ben, do we have any questions submitted in the Q&A?
Yes, will the Bartlett Dam project be eligible for funding?
I will give a most likely yes, but that is something we can include in our FAQ sheet for certainly. But I do anticipate it would be eligible. Have other questions, Ben?
You can also use the raise hand feature, but or submit them in the chat box. Amy, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, this is Amy Peterson from City of Surprise. And my question is actually in relation to the Bartlett Dam project. We had a similar feeling. This feels like it's the right fund to support that type of project. My concern, though, is around the actual disbursement timeline you mentioned. It looked like the funds needed to be used within a 3 year time period. Is that 3 years from, the date of entering into an agreement with WIFA?
Yes, exactly. 3 years from the loan execution date.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like that will be challenging for the Bartlett participants to be able to utilize this funding if that is the case, because I think the funding deadline for that project, if it stays on the current track that it's on, is probably more aligned with like 2029, 2030. So is there any opportunity for this fund to kind of, I don't know, be molded to sort of fit that type of project?
It's certainly something we can discuss more and that we can address in our FAQ sheet. So I definitely appreciate that question and that
Thank you.
information. Yeah.
Don't be shy. This is your opportunity.
This is a brand new program, so we're expecting lots of questions.
Go ahead, Melinda.
Think at one point there was a general discussion about utilizing this fund for um, maybe refinancing older debt. Is that still an option or no?
That's a great question. Again, I'll give you a hesitant, I believe refinancing would be eligible, but we can certainly address that and confirm it within the um, FAQ sheet.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melinda. You have a question from Michelle. When do we anticipate announcing rewards? I believe
So
the
we
awards
do
are coming
anticipate
in.
February to March that the board would be hearing these projects, always depending on board timelines, but that is our anticipation right now. And we can leave it open a few more minutes in case anyone thinks of anything else. As I said, though, you can always email us as you think of questions, as you start working through the applications and you come up with questions. We're happy to set up one-on-one meetings to help walk through any questions someone might have about the application process or any specifics, technical issues with trying to get access to the forms. Definitely happy to help with that. But we can leave it a few more minutes. If anyone has anything else, go ahead and type it in or raise your hand and we can address it. Otherwise, we'll close it up in another few minutes here.
Amy had a question. Amy Peterson, City of Surprise. What types of conservation projects do you foresee being suitable for this fund, given that WIFA manages a conservation grant fund as well?
Definitely a great question, Amy. I mean, I think it's basically any of the projects that were eligible within that conservation program would be eligible within this. I think it's up to you all to determine what types of conservation projects you would want to take a loan for instead of get a grant for. So I think that'll be a to set priorities for you. If it's something that it's a high priority, you're ready to take on a loan for it and do conservation, we would love to see those types of projects come through.
And then Justin Perry has a question. I just want to clarify, can private entities that offer water conservation technology or practices apply?
So private vendors of the technology would not be eligible. Private water companies as a water provider would be eligible, as well as anyone else listed under that water provider's definition. But that will be people with a public water system ID number, serving water to communities. So not the private entities with the conservation technology. But they should be talking to the public water providers to try to see if they can get a project.
Question, we have proposed interstate water delivery by rail. WIFA has not seemed interested in past programs. Could you comment on if this program would work and any significant issues you see?
That's certainly something we can follow up with. I will note this will be, again, it needs to be the eligible entities to be applying for it, so water providers and public entities, and then for an in-state water augmentation project. So if it meets those two criteria, we encourage you to apply. Right, it seems like it's slowing down. If anyone is typing away, we'll give you another maybe 2 minutes or raise your hand.
Brian asks if there will be another round of funding next year.
Um, it's uh it's unknown at this point when the next round of funding will be opened. It'll depend on how much demand occurs in this round, and if additional funds are provided to the fund in the future, if we can open another round or not. So undetermined at this point, but certainly encourage everyone to sign up for those WIFA alerts to make sure that you don't miss any updates if there is another funding round.
Amy, go ahead.
You just answered my question, so thank you.
Oh, good.
We have a question from Chris. Thanks for the information. We're excited about this opportunity. I guess more of a statement. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Well, I think might be good to close this. As always, though, we are here to answer any questions you might have. Keep an eye out. We'll put a blast out through our alerts once we have the presentation and FAQ sheet posted on our website. So keep an eye out for that. And if there's nothing else, we definitely thank you all for your really thoughtful
We have
questions and
one
for
more
joining us
question,
today.
Lindsay.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one more question from Brian. Go
Perfect.
ahead, Brian.
Just by the, yep, no problem.
No,
Sorry, say it again.
you answered my question. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. All right. Well, yeah, we definitely appreciate everyone joining. We hope that this was helpful, and we really look forward to seeing what applications you submit for this. So thank you, everyone.